There we go. Because I promised people I would record it since half the world has no power. But I thought if we could at least record it and send it out, that would be a good thing. This is actually my 34th back to school as an educator. I can't believe I'm quite that old, but this is a very different year than anything else that we've ever had. So I want to welcome all of our new people to Willow. I look forward to being able to shake your hand and welcome you in person, but for now, this sort of has to do the trick. Really looking forward to getting to know each of you better. So I am recording tonight's meeting. I'll be sending out the link via Parent Square after the meeting. I have some really important information to share with you tonight. The things we're going to talk about are kind of big picture. There will be a time at the end to ask questions, so I would just ask you to be patient right this minute. We're going to focus on big picture tonight. Tomorrow night is back to school night with your child's teacher. During that time, you're going to hear about specific schedules and curricular plans. Tonight, we're going to mostly talk about logistics and answer some questions. And even if I can't answer all of your questions tonight, I'm going to help you to know who to ask and how to go about that. Sonia Lima is our new office manager. I'm not sure if Sonia is here yet. We had to really fuss with that. So Sonia, are you able to say hi? Many people are going to recognize Sonia's face. She is from Yountville. She's been at Yountville, and we are just very excited to welcome her here. So Sonia, are you able to say hi?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry, my video, it won't load. So
okay.
Try again. But hi, everybody. Hi,
we're happy. And I'm happy that Sonia's here because Sonia is really taking care of all of those nitty-gritty questions and issues that all of you are having. And we have a lot going on right now. I am actually going to share my screen. We're gonna take a look at a PowerPoint that I've created and get us started here. That's not where I want to be. All right, so let's just walk through some information together. So welcome. So welcome to Willow Elementary School. So happy to start out another year with all of you. I want to introduce to you our school-wide concept, significant question, and masterwork. So we are an artful learning school. Our teachers teach in a concept-based interdisciplinary way through concept-based units, and it's going to look a little bit different virtually, but we're still going to keep going with that. So last spring, when our leadership team met, we decided on a concept of unity. And at the time, we knew we were going to be welcoming some new friends from Yountville and Mount George, and we knew that things were going to change, but I don't think we knew how different things were going to be and how really significant this concept is. I mean, we've had a lot of really racially charged issues that have happened, just being isolated, trying to do virtual school. So I think unity is going to be very meaningful in a variety of ways. I hope that it's meaningful to you, but how can we come together as a team to educate your kids and to give them the best possible experience? So our significant question, how does unity promote growth in our school community? So we'll be working on this concept all year long, talking about that. I've put in a picture of our masterwork. Our masterwork is called Tar Beach. It comes from a book by Faith Ringgold. And we're going to be doing some work with this as well. So I'm really excited about this concept for the year. Want to tell you about a couple things that are coming up before I kind of dig into logistics. We do have a new parent orientation that's planned for new families. Anyone is welcome, but that's scheduled for next Wednesday night, the 26th of August. And it'll be at 6 o'clock. Really, we're going to talk about our model. I'm going to give you an overview of artful learning. We'll talk a little bit about what that looks like for your children in the classroom. I know that many of you have toured with me and we've gone over this before, but it's a little refresher. It's also an opportunity to ask some specific questions for folks who are new to our school. So that'll be next Wednesday from 6 to 7. And then we're going to have our first parent club meeting, our first PAFA meeting of the year, right after that at 7. Won't be a super long meeting, but just kind of talk about how can you be involved as a parent, what can you do, and what's this going to look like this year for us virtually? How do we keep this going and make it all work for us? So I want to just talk big picture about the logistics of how this is going to happen. School starts on Thursday, as you know. We have divided our students up into cohort groups, and that's pretty much by alphabetical order. A through LIE are in AM cohort groups. LIF through Z are in PM cohort groups. You see the time there. 8 to 10:30 in the morning is the AM group. 12:30 to 3 is the PM group. So we have to get our instructional minutes in. So when they're not with their teacher getting direct instruction and interacting with their classmates, they'll have some assignments. That's what we're calling asynchronous learning. They'll have an opportunity to zoom in with PE. They'll have an opportunity to have art instruction. They'll have some assignments. We're going to ask them to read a book and lots of things that they'll be doing. Those first 2 days, Thursday and Friday, the 20th and the 21st, everyone is going to meet together. That will give the teachers an opportunity to build some community with the entire class. Everyone will get to know each other. And then starting next Monday, the 24th, then we'll have AM and PM cohorts. So this is the way it's going to be until we begin to come back to school. Even when we come back, when we're physically on our campus, we'll still, for a while until we, are told otherwise, we'll still be in those AM and PM cohort groups. People ask me all these questions about, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? To be perfectly honest, I'm dealing with what's right now, and there's no point in me telling you differently. I'd be making stuff up and it would probably change anyway. So we're just going to try to work on now and what's happening at this moment in time. Something that I'm hoping that you will get your children to attend is our Welcome Back Assembly. It's our very first day of school. So your kids will be in school from 8 to 10:30. Then we're going to have an assembly from 11 to 11:30, introducing our teachers, talking about our concept for the year, talking about where they can find our morning message every day, and really an opportunity to build community and kick off our year. So we want as many of our kids and families to come as possible. And we will be doing monthly assemblies, virtual assemblies. So we will post those. The link is in the calendar. If you don't have that Google Calendar, you're going to want to get that. You're going to want to be on top of your Parent Square messages and really paying attention. So I've already talked about how cohort groups are set up. If you have not been able to log into Aries Portal, or if you have not done that, you need to set up your Aries Parent Portal. You need to fill out the paperwork that is there. Please, please, please fill out the free and reduced lunch application. First of all, we want your kids to get fed if they qualify for free and reduced lunch, but we also want, that's also a way that we get funded. Students who qualify are a funding category, so that's helpful to us. So if you'll fill out all of that paperwork, we would really appreciate it. Sonia, can I ask you to just maybe quickly speak to Parent Portal, anything that you feel that people need to know about the Aries Parent Portal?
Yes. So if for any reason you still cannot see your child, more than likely it's because we don't have a correct email address. So please contact the office, give me a call, or email me, or email the office, and provide provide the best email, phone number, and contact person for your student so that I can update that information via our end of Aries so that you can download the app and then create your student account.
So I know that that was a little chopped up for me, but I kind of heard what Sonia said, and a lot of the times the issues with the parent portal are really that we don't have the correct email address. So if you're emailing Sonia and her email is right here on this slide, if you're emailing her, please make sure that you include your phone number, your child's name, and the email address. She may just be able to fix it for you and we can be done. But this is really, really important. So a lot of people have reached out and asked me about school supplies. Let me tell you how we're going to manage this. You're going to hear a little bit more about it tomorrow night. We aren't collecting things. We don't need things. We're not going to have kids. You are at home. You need supplies. So tomorrow night, your teachers are going to talk about that suggested list of supplies that you can have at home. We're really going to suggest that you have set up a place for your child to work. Feeling like this is my school space, these are my school things, I use them for school or any school projects, and then I put them back. That's going to be really important. So they're going to have some suggested supplies. If you cannot purchase those supplies, if you don't just have them around, please let us know. We're going to be ordering some supplies, and then we're going to have a schedule for some pickup. So your children have books that they would ordinarily be issued. So language arts materials, math materials, other kinds of materials. We're going to put all of that together. We'll schedule a pickup. And then when you come to pick up, you can tell us, yeah, I need that set of supplies. I don't have those things at home that you suggested for me, and we'll be issuing that to you. My very best guess is that it's going to be at least the end of next week and possibly the beginning of that first week of September before we schedule a pickup date. That's mostly because we are trying to order materials. We're waiting for those materials to come in. We need to sort them and get them ready. We're waiting for our math materials right now to be delivered by the publisher. So we're hoping as soon as we get that ready to roll that we can get something scheduled. There'll be a few different times for you to pick up, so don't stress about that right now, but it is going to be important that you come by and get the stuff so your children have what they need to get their work done. So let's just talk briefly about what happens during the school day. I really want to make sure that everybody understands this. So there's that 2.5 hour block that they're dialed in, that they're with their teacher. They might be working in a small group. They might be working in breakout groups on projects or what have you. There's some kind of there's instruction happening during that 2.5 hours. But 2.5 hours isn't all of the instructional minutes that are in our day. So for kindergartners and TK have 180 required minutes. So beyond that 2.5 hours, there's about 30 more minutes of assignment. So there might be a little assignment they're doing, it might be reading, it might be some practice. So first through third graders have an additional 80 minutes of time. So we're going by those required instructional minutes that are established by the state. And so once they're done with their 2.5 hours of time with their teacher, they're also going to have some other work that they need to do. PE is going to count for instructional minutes. They go to art class or music class. If they're doing their reading assignment, that's all going to count for instructional minutes. Okay. A lot of the same platforms, it's going to look similar in that regard as to how things were set up in the springtime. So we used Zoom and Seesaw with our little people. We used Zoom and Google Classroom with our older students. The district has added some other platforms, some other resources for us. These are some things that you'll be learning more about, but things like Imagine Learning if you're an English learner. Dreambox is a math program, Mystery Science. So a lot of people have had questions about this idea of Clever. And so Clever is an app that manages all of the links to those things that I just showed you. So your kid will log into Clever, and then in Clever, They'll just be able to click on wherever I need to go to Seesaw or I need to go to Dreambox. They'll be able to click there, and there's not a million different places that you have to log in or go to. So it really helps to organize you and your child. You might be able to help them, or you might need to help them the first couple times as they get online, but they should be able to do this pretty much by themselves. So again, ways that you can help your child is to establish that workspace for your child so that they can really feel like they're at school. They're in their space where they're going to work. Have a schedule for them. This is what time we get up. When we get up, we make our bed, we eat our breakfast, we get ready for school so that things are predictable. I'm sure a lot of you have lost some of that routine where when we have kids, we get in routine, but when we're at home, whether it's summer or shelter in place, we lose some of that routine, and routine is really good for all of us. So we're going to also make a suggestion. I'm just going to go to the Spanish slide. We're also going to make a suggestion that when it's not screen time for school, that we try to put screens away. Your kids need to play, your kids need to create, they need to read. So just being mindful of how much screen time do they have. Not all of their assignments will be on the computer. I can promise you that. I think we've gone over most of this. We will be taking attendance, and attendance can mean different things, but finding ways that your child can participate. Stuff happens. Sometimes we're running late, but just like if you had to bring your child to school, you're going to do your best to get them there on time, to get them logged in. Sometimes people are sick, sometimes things happen, but you're going to do your best just like I'm going to do my best. Your teacher's going to do their best. That's all that we can ask of each other. If you're unsure, communicate with your teacher. Please read the things that we send home. It's challenging right now. And so if we can all do our part, it's going to be helpful. Try to stay positive about school. Read to your child. Find ways to have fun and make things enjoyable. We're very excited. One of the things that our parent club does is they support our arts program, and they help support our artist partners. Jenny Hunt, Michael and Valerie Nelson from Magical Moonshine Puppet Theater. They're going to be joining us, and we've been working hard to talk about what that's going to look like in a virtual setting. It's going to look a little bit different, but it's still going to happen. We're going to find ways to support their emotional learning as well as bringing arts and fun into their academic learning. I've probably talked about most of these things. Really trying to, they're going to have screen time because they're doing school virtually. So thinking about what is it that we can do to support those non-screen activities, reading books, making things, playing outside, playing board games. This is the time to do all of those things. And then trying to make sure that they do attend art class. There's nobody going to be there making sure that they log in, but when they get those art links, log into art class, log into PE class as much as possible. So like I said, we will be taking attendance daily, and we're going to be having instruction based on grade level standards. They're going to be getting progress reports and report cards. We also are going to be implementing some intervention. We are going to be doing some assessment, really trying to find out, was there loss of learning? What can we do to make up for that? And how can we support our students? So very excited about our intervention team. We have a new intervention teacher, and we're really trying to be strategic about how to support all of our students with that. And that might happen during synchronous learning time. Like there might be a time when the intervention teacher pushes in and there's a small group, but it also might happen during that other time. So it's their independent work time, and they still might have another Zoom class where they could get an extra dose of reading or math instruction. If your child has an IEP, or if you were in that process, or if they get additional support, all of those things are going to continue to happen. So if they have resource support, they're going to have a time for resource. If they have speech services, they will have that provided. And I know some of our IEPs were interrupted because of our shelter in place and the closure of our schools. So there might be some times when we do some one-on-one, we bring kids in and onto our site, because our site is open. It's just not, fully populated. Our teachers, many of our teachers, probably 80 to 85% of them are working from their classrooms. And so some of your teachers might reach out to you to get you to come in and have an appointment to finish some assessment or do some check-ins. So we're very excited about being able to do that. The district has been sending out a lot of information. So please read that information. You should be able to find out who your child's teacher is at this point. Tomorrow morning by 9 o'clock, our teachers will be sending out the link to back to school night. I just saw today come through another time to pick up technology. I think it's the next couple of days from 1 to 3 at the technology department. So tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, if you're new or you didn't get a Chromebook before, 1st through 5th graders are being issued Chromebooks. TK and kindergartners are being issued iPads. So we're still doing that. So get there tomorrow or Thursday between 1 and 3. And if you're having trouble, if you're struggling, these phone numbers are the folks that you need to reach out to with technology support. Like if something's not working, if you're just having trouble logging in, oftentimes we can help troubleshoot that. Mrs. Morton is our 5th grade teacher. She has offered to do a parent class. So if we have enough interest in something like that to really help you know how to use these devices, if this is new for you, she's willing to do that. So we'll try to figure out what the interest is for that.
Ms. Perkins, can I hop in here real quick?
Absolutely.
All right. The deployment is from 1 to 3 at our technology center, but for the TK and K students who still need an iPad, those won't be available until later in the week, and we're going to let you guys know when they're ready.
Okay, so just 1st through 5th grade deployment Chromebooks.
And then please email that CB at deployment email that's on the screen right now if you are still in need of an iPad, and we will let you know when there are more available.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Jordan works for the technology department. Jordan was a rock star trying to troubleshoot our technological difficulties this evening, and he didn't have power, so he ran down to NVUSD. So I really appreciate that kind of support.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think what I'd like to do is this would be our opportunity to ask questions. Jordan, can you help me? How does that work? I see some people have raised their hands.
Why don't we can start calling on the first person, and then I will allow them to speak. And then once we're done asking a question, then you can call on the next person.
Okay. So how do I know who's?
If you click on the little participants button down on the bottom, and then click over to attendees, you'll see. Looks like there's about 8 people with their hands raised. So,
okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
I see it. Okay, Raquel, you want to start for us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for everything that you guys do. Good afternoon. My question is mainly about what's going on right now with the fires and the power outage and evacuations. Are you guys still planning on starting school on Thursday with all the evacuations going on, or do you not know?
So at this moment, I do not know. But I would stay tuned I would watch your Parent Square app. I haven't received any information, but that doesn't mean, things, and especially with fires, we all know things change very quickly. So again, watch your Parent Square for updates about that. That's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maria. Maria, you just need to unmute yourself. Maria, did you have a question? Okay, I'll come back to Maria. How about Brittany?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, thank you so much. I just had a quick question about the extracurriculars like the art and music classes. Just curious if there's a plan for those to be at scheduled times, like a live Zoom meeting, or if that's something that would be recorded that he could do with me in the evening when I get home from work, that sort of thing.
Right. So right now, the art classes, we're planning to do a live Zoom, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't figure out how to record those lessons, which I think is actually a really great idea. Currently, music we have planned for 4th and 5th graders. So vocal music, band, and strings, that will be for 4th and 5th graders. Right now, we're not going to do music classes for our little people, at least not yet. Not at this time. We don't have that planned. But we will have our artist partners lessons, and those will happen during the time that they're online with their teachers.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh. So Katie.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I just have a question. Today I picked up a Google Chrome or the Google Chrome book.
Uh-huh.
But you were saying that TK and kindergartners are supposed to have iPads. Is that going to be an issue? Should I go back and get an iPad instead?
Oh, so did you pick that up from technology?
Yeah, they gave me the Chromebook.
Okay, they knew that you were a kindergartner, or?
They just asked his name in school. I don't remember if they asked I think they asked if he was in kindergarten. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's okay. Jordan, can you answer that question? What
Yeah. So I think getting your child an iPad is probably the best thing. So let's, if you email the email address cbdeployment@nvusd.org and let them, and just say in the email, hello, I have a kinder and I got a Chromebook instead of an iPad. Then we will let you know when the iPads are available, and we'll tell you when you can come down and grab one. It should be later this week, so hopefully even by Thursday. But we needed to procure some more to get everyone what they need. So.
Okay, and then it won't be an issue if he doesn't have one then for the first day on Thursday, will it?
I would have him go ahead and log in on the Chromebook that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And just do your best. It's just going to be a lot easier for him to use the iPad, and so he's going to need your support to begin with. But at least he'll have something and he can be present, and then find out from technology when you can switch that out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Monica.
Hi.
Hi.
So I wanted to just ask, is the list of staff that's on the website, is that the final list or is it going to change? I was just wondering to see if any of the resource staff or support staff was changing.
Yeah, so honestly, I haven't checked that list. I'll check it. The resource staff, support staff really hasn't changed much. We've added a few teachers. So we have, let me just tell you who's new. Terry Chivatari, who is teaching kindergarten. She's coming from Yountville. Ginger Dunn is teaching 2nd grade. She's coming from Mount George. Debbie Simpkins is teaching 3rd grade. She's coming from Yountville. And Jennifer Stilts is going to be teaching 4th grade. She's coming from Donaldson Way. So those are our 4 new teachers. Oh, and actually then also Margot Slack is going to be teaching a 1-2 special day class, a special education class. And she's coming from the, like a special ed department. She had a different kind of position last year, but those are most of the changes that have happened. Actually, a lot of our instructional assistants, our resource teachers, those are all the same. Thank you though for reminding me. I need to check on the website and see if the staff has changed. So I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we just haven't received anything yet for any of the speech therapy or
Yep, same speech therapist.
occupational.
Yeah, same speech therapist, same occupational therapist. Although I think we have an addition, like 1 new person who's going to be there 1 day a week. So, but a lot of the same cases. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Amanda.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, hi. We had heard that Governor Newsom had signed something so that special ed or IEP students would be able to attend class in person. Is that true? And what are our plans for that?
I don't know. I can find out about that. What I will tell you is that there are some things that will happen in person for students that have IEPs or that are being in the process of being tested for an IEP. So we may do some one-on-one therapy on campus. But as far as attending in class right now, I don't know about that, but I'm gonna find out. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
How about Ali Hernandez?
Hello, good evening, Ms. Parkins.
Hi.
So more than a question, I feel like it's more a concern. So on the first, when we first got shelter, my son had difficulties paying attention to the class online. So the teacher will pretty much block the screen for anybody else to see him. And I feel very disrespected towards that. So is there anything like a special training for the teachers to deal with something like that? I mean, I do believe that kids already have struggled trying to pay attention for online classes. I just want to make sure that they have the proper training to deal with those kind of situations instead of just blocking their screen.
Right. So our teachers, actually, we've had an opportunity to give them a lot of training. All last week, we had over 100 hours worth of training that was available to teachers. And then this week as well. I feel like we've learned a lot. But I will also tell you that part of this whole AM PM cohort, even though it has its own challenges, will help with this. So what you're going to do is our classes are divided in half. So we have smaller classes. So it should be easier to make connections with kids. Hopefully kids will be a little bit less distracted. What I would encourage you to do is, if you see something that concerns you like that, reach out to your child's teacher. Bring up your concern. If you don't feel satisfied with how that's being handled, please reach out to me. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. And I don't want you to struggle with that. Okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yes. All right, the Petricks.
Oh my gosh, my son's more technologically savvy than me. Thank you, Pam. Sorry about that.
Absolutely.
So I have 2 questions, one of which I might have to wait to get the answer when we have back to school night tomorrow. But the first question that I had was, you know, you had said that their independent time would be about 80 minutes for the third graders. It seemed like the schedule that we were initially sent, it seemed like there was more time there. And I'm just wondering, is it going to be more structured than just, hey, you have 80 minutes to do? Yes, I understand there'll be links for PE, but I just need to know what to expect, because, you know, when we're working, we're going to have our own schedule just to make sure he gets everything completed and that we're able to work.
Right, I totally understand that. So he's going to have assignment. Obviously, they're going to have to find their group, right?
Sure.
But they'll have assignments. Maybe they're working on a writing project. Maybe they're working on maybe they have to do a certain amount of research, or maybe they have math problems that they're working on. So they're going to have assignments just like they would have in class or anywhere else. That's also what makes it really nice for them to pick up their curriculum. They're going to have the stuff that they need to read. They can write on that. It's not all going to be typing. They're going to have paper and pencils. And so they're going to have assignments that they're going to have to do. PE will be offered to them regularly, so they can attend that. They don't have to do PE every day, but it's going to be offered to them. Art will probably only be once a week. So the assignments that they'll have should be structured enough that you know, he's going to know what he's supposed to do. In addition to that, I think it's important to know that, you know, even though we've sort of mapped out your day, and if he's in the AM, I'm just using this as an example. If he's in the AM cohort and then he has independent work in the afternoon, let's just say that you can't get to it in the afternoon and it gets pushed to the evening. That's okay. You know, he just has to do his work at some point. There's definitely some flexibility around that.
Okay, thank you for that. The last question I had, he still has the Clever site kind of bookmarked on the Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
Can I assume that he can log in and everything, like the new teacher site will be kind of connected? I mean, again, I'm not that savvy when it comes to this sort of stuff, but we won't need to start a new account, basically.
It's okay. I think so. Jordan, is it the same place that they go for if they go to their old Clever, is it the same place?
Yeah, so students can just sign into Clever like they were doing last year, and all of their class information is synced through Aries, which is our student information system. So their new class will be there, their new teacher, if they're Google Classroom, all that is all, I think as of this afternoon, it's ready to go.
I checked earlier today and I didn't see anything, but
okay.
But that wasn't this afternoon, so I will definitely.
Okay.
And I know you guys. I know you guys are working. It's such the task ahead of you is just pretty impressive. So thank you so much. It's a crazy time for everyone, so we really appreciate all the hard work that you're doing. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Sergio Garcia. Sergio, do you have a question?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. So my question is, I want to know who's going to be the fifth grade teacher or teacher, because I don't know who's going to be my son's teacher.
So a little bit difficult to understand, but I think you were asking how to find out who your child's teacher is.
That is correct.
So that should be in the Aries portal. It should be in there today. If you created your Aries parent portal, if you filled out all of your paperwork, it should show up in there today. Sonia, can you help us know, like, where do they go? Is it obvious where it talks about their teacher assignment?
Can you hear me?
Sort of.
Okay. So when you go into the Aries app for your parent portal, there should be a tab at the very top with your students. You can select your student, and then well, my children are in secondary, but you click on grades and their classes should show up.
And are yours there, Sonia? Can you see your child's record? Or
yes. So my daughter that's in high school showed up yesterday or the day before, I'm not quite sure. And my daughter who's in middle school just showed up this morning.
Okay.
So, but I did have several phone calls from parents.
You're going away, Sonia.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, here, let me get really close. So, I did have lots of phone calls and emails from parents today and yesterday and last week saying, well, that they couldn't see their kiddos, but definitely today. So I'm not quite sure at what time the kids rolled over into the parent portal. And I can't see elementary on my app. But if they are, for any reason, you're not able to access areas, or have an issue, please call me. I can help you.
So we're losing you, Sonia, but I think that we were told that the teachers, it would be populated today. And I think it's not like a boom, it's there. It takes a bit of time. So I would check again, and I would check in the morning. And if it's still not there, let us know. And what I will tell you is that you're going to get a Parent Square message from your child's teacher tomorrow with the link to back to school night. So then you'll know. Thank you. Thank you. Shannon Prutch. Shannon, did you have maybe it's, Shannon, do you have a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is first year for my son TK, and how do we best get onto Clever? Is it an app or is it clever.com?
I think it's clever.com. Jordan, you want to speak to this? What I'm going to say, I am going to pass it to Jordan, but I think you're going to learn about all this stuff tomorrow from your classroom teacher.
Okay, great. Well, don't feel like you have to run into that then right now.
Okay.
Clever.com will work. It'll
Perfect,
just ask you, it'll just ask you for your school when you first sign on. So you'll find Willow Elementary there, and then you'll be able to log on with your child's username and password.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Ashley Ochoa.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
I must have missed the part where you discussed the cohorts, the AM and the PM. Is it going to be the same as the district had discussed, like A through L, like certain letters are in, certain letters in L are AM, and then after certain letters from L to Z are in PM?
Yes, it's A to LIE is AM, and then LIF through Z is PM. That being said, I had some classes that I looked at their class lists, and there were 20 kids in the AM and 6 kids in the PM. So I made some adjustments. I spent a ton of time last week making phone calls, trying to look at who had siblings, and really readjusting things, just to make them pretty even, because it matters. Like someone said before, they asked that question about giving their kids some personal attention, and that's really a lot of the goal here. And then also when we come back, there's the whole concept of social distancing and not having as many kids in the classroom. So we want the numbers to be balanced. So it doesn't have to be exact, but we want it to be pretty close. So I've spent a lot of time creating that balance in your classroom. If you and I have not talked about it on the phone, then you can assume that it follows that alphabetic code.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
You bet. Raquel. Raquel, did you have another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
I forgot to unmute myself. I'm trying to have a couple questions. I want to understand how this extra time works. Is that just to do like classroom work, or is that to do like homework, or is that to do like physical activity? And am I going to get like an email or something to let me know? Because starting on the 24th, my daughter's daycare provider is going to be the one helping with that.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure that they're not going to miss anything and then get marked absent or something.
Yeah, yeah. So you're going to find out a lot more tomorrow night during back to school night about exactly how the teacher is going to run that additional time. But those are the times that they would have PE. They are the times that they might be doing a math assignment or a writing assignment or a reading assignment. So things that are more independent work would happen during that additional time. It could be, you know, what you would think of as homework or, you know, independent classwork, but they will have assignments and there will be some structure to that, but that's going to be driven by your child's teacher. And you'll find out that from your child's teacher.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's going to be through Seesaw, and then just click on things and you'll see what the assignments and stuff. But she'll be able to tell me more about that.
Yep.
And then also on the Clever, am I not allowed to log in on it right now, or is that something that the teacher's going to tell me how to work on it? Because I'm trying to log in, but it's not letting me. I'm a little confused on how to do it.
So I think just like Jordan said, you should be able to log into Clever. Then it should ask you for your school, and it may ask you for your child's ID number. And that would be, you would get that ID number from your Aries parent portal. But honestly, if you're a bit confused, you should get some directions from your classroom teacher. There were also some webinars that the district did last week for parents, and I noticed that some of them were recorded. So I did post the link to those recordings on Facebook. And if you need support with that, if you want, I can repost those or resend those if that would be helpful, because those are probably going to give you information on how to operate some of these platforms.
Okay, because I did attend the Seesaw one. I didn't see any for Clever, and I don't have Facebook, so I wouldn't be able to get it through there.
And Clever's not super complicated. Once you get in, it's kind of like Clever is like this this housing app, and everything is inside of that. So once you log into Clever, then there's your link to Zoom, and there's your link to Seesaw, and there's your link to, so it just kind of makes things a lot easier for parents. And so that's the beauty of Clever.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. It's just that on the tablet that the district gave me for my daughter, it has the Clever app already. So I clicked on it and it asked me for the school, and I did that. But then I'm trying to, it says sign in to continue to Clever. So am I supposed to put the email with uppercase letters instead of lowercase? That's the part that I'm a bit confused on.
So you might be able to get help through the technology help desk. I'm going to send this out to you along with the link to this meeting, the recording link, so you can get that, and you can either wait and kind of try to get the information from your teacher, see if they help you, or if you really feel like you need help, you can contact the help desk, the technology help desk. Okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Clara.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, sorry, I was eating dinner. Sorry.
Eating's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a question. Okay. So I picked up 2 Chromebooks last spring, one for my TK and one for my second grade. And so my second grade, I'm sorry, my TK used Chromebook all last spring, right. and he did fine. And then so now this year for Kinder, there's a iPad. Right. Is it okay to keep him with a Chromebook, or should we switch?
You can if you want to, and especially if he did fine with it. What I would do is I would see how it goes, and if you get started and you feel like he really could use the iPad, then you could always try to reach out to technology. I think the one advantage with the iPad is, it has the built-in camera, it has the built-in video and stuff, and so if they're working on something, they have that capability. But I don't know how much of a difference it would make. If you think he's fine with the Chromebook, you can just keep it as is.
Yeah, he's fine with mouse and keyboard and all that stuff. I wasn't really sure if there's a difference in the app versus like mobile app versus the web version.
No, I don't think it's really a difference in like the actual programs. I think it's just
Okay.
for some kids it was really challenging for them, and so that worked for us as we were punting and just trying to distribute technology really quickly. But
Right.
now, after experiencing it, we realized it'd probably be really nice for our TK and kinder students to have iPads. But I think it's kind of personal preference.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Wendy, do you have a question?
Hi.
Hi, Wendy.
First, I want to say thank you so much. We're coming from Yountville, so it's everything's been a little challenging.
I know.
Super excited. Thank you, Sonia. Can't wait to see you. You were amazing over there, and I know that everybody else is going to love you over here at Willow too. So super excited. My question is, so when we left Yountville, PTA gifted all of the leaving students, or all the students, I guess for that matter, because they were all leaving, a Chromebook. And so I have that, and I did not get one with the district just yet. Is there going to be a problem with me? What I am fearful of is me logging her on to her personal Chromebook, and with all of the limitation that is put on them through the school, is that going to hinder her Chromebook going forward?
Jordan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's a really big deal. If you have a device and, it's perfectly fine, I think it's perfectly fine. And the district isn't gonna, fix it if it's broken. That it becomes your responsibility. But they're pretty straightforward, and I really don't think you should have difficulty still just logging into Clever. And like with iPads, the district has pushed out the app, so everything's all loaded, so you don't have to load anything. It's all right there. With the Chromebooks, you might run into something that you have to, but not really. I don't think so, because it all should be the links to those things should be in Clever. So I think I don't think it'll be a big deal for you.
Okay, so my biggest concern was just that I didn't want to log on, and then we need to get on it for something here at the house, but we can no longer get on YouTube, or we can't get on a certain app or whatnot. So that was my concern.
Yeah, since this was given to you guys, so it's your personal device. It's not one of our district managed ones. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so you won't have any limitations in terms. So our district Chromebooks are limited to only NVUSD accounts. Only those accounts can log in, and then when a student does log in, there's student safety controls that are enforced. None of those are enforced. So you on your own Chromebook, so you can log her out and log yourself in, use it for other purposes if you need to, and then when your student logs back into their NDUSD.org account, then all of the links that we've assigned to elementary students and stuff, those will still be there. So it's kind of like a hybrid managed system, but none of the enforcements work on a personal Chromebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that will do it for me then. Again, I want to say thank you, though. You guys are doing great.
Thank you. Thanks, Wendy. I appreciate it. Autumn.
There we go. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, Ms. Perkins.
Hi.
So I just had a quick question, because I know that during the summer we kind of talked, with other parents, and is there going to be like a consistency amongst the teachers of what they're going to be, how they're going to structure things, or is everyone kind of on their own and how they want to do it?
It's really such a great question. So we've talked a lot about being united. One of those things that we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know when we're coming back to school.
Right.
We don't know exactly who's going to do what. So when we came back, they proposed that virtual option. So it may still be that way. I don't know. you know, let's just say arbitrarily that we're coming back in January and they offer an option for people to remain out of school and continue virtually, and some people are coming back. So we're going to have some teachers that are teaching those virtual classes, and then some teachers that are coming back. Feasibly, we might have to shuffle kids around. And I don't know that. I don't want to alarm anybody, but, you know, it's the reality that we live in. And so we're going to get started. We're going to make every effort as grade level teams to completely be in sync, and to also have kids, to share those kids. So to do some Zoom classes together, to share those teaching responsibilities, so that when they do come back, if somebody's going into a virtual classroom and one of the teachers is teaching virtually and we have to move those kids, that they're still going to know those people and they're still going to feel like those are my teachers. So those are a lot of the conversations we've had. And I think more than ever, it is imperative that we are aligned with each other as a grade level team. And I don't think that's going to be, I'm very excited with the growth of our school right now. It's pretty balanced and pretty easy. You know, we have 3 kinder classes, we have 3 first grade classes, 3 second grade classes, 3 fourth grade classes, 3 third grade classes, 2 fourth grade classes, 2 fifth grade classes, and a 4 or 5 combo. So, I mean, those are really nice, solid teams. And so I'm very excited about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Ms. Mendez.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi. First of all, I'd like to say thank you. And we're coming from our school that's closing, St. John's, a Catholic school. And the transition has been very smooth. So I want to thank you guys for all the communication. I did have a question though in regards to the cohort being the separated by last name. I know you touched on a couple groups. If you weren't contacted, then we're assuming we're still in the A through L split.
Well, it depends on what your child, if your child's last name is Mendez, then they're in the LIF through Z last name. Yes, if you weren't contacted, that's correct.
So she's actually last name is Alonso, and then my last name's Mendez. So then she'd be the morning cohort.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, and then are they logging on every morning from the 8 to 10:30 cohort time?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're just trying to figure out, both parents are working, so we want to make sure that I understood that correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Ricky.
It looks like Ricky needs to update their version of Zoom, because we cannot allow them to speak unless we have an updated version of Zoom installed.
Okay. Ricky, if you can't update your Zoom, which is fine, email me and ask me your question. I'll get back to you. Okay. Santiago, Rico.
Hi, Ms. Perkins.
Hi.
I don't know if this can help parents, but the way I find out the new teachers of my kids, it's going through Parent Square, and then there's the students, schools, and when you go to classes, it says the name of the student, the school, and the new teacher next to it.
Well, aren't you savvy?
Yeah, that's the way I find it.
Good for you. Good for you.
So probably it can help other parents that still hasn't get any info on the Aries app.
Nice. But you still have to fill out your papers in Aries.
Okay.
You. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brittany, you have another question?
Yeah, I actually was just about to touch on something similar, just to answer Sonia's question for elementary. I did find the teacher assignment by going to student info and then demographics. So I'm not sure if that will help her find that, but that did work for me.
Okay, great. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate that. So we have a few more. We have a few more questions. What I'd like to do is I'd like to answer just a couple more questions, and then I apologize that we had originally set this up to do a translation a different way, and then everything sort of imploded. So so if you needed translation, we didn't do that. But maybe what we'll do is let me try to answer these last couple questions. Elizabeth Stoffner, you're going to be my last question. I have 6 people, and then we'll do just a little bit of Spanish. And if you want to stay so you can hear a little more Spanish or ask some Spanish questions, ask some questions in Spanish, we can do that. So Nancy Tarleton, you have a question?
Yes. So my question is, so I know like during the last portion of when we had COVID and they were doing the online school, there was times like that, you know, my daughter needed a little extra help, and I know she was able to email the teacher. Is there a way that she needed to kind of like see the lesson all over again sometimes? Is there anything that they're going to do, like recording maybe the session so that they could maybe even see it again? Or are they just basically just going to do the same thing, just email and just try to get, you know, an email instruction rather than a visual?
So that's a really good question for the teacher as to what strategies they're going to be using, because I think that there are some teachers that are probably planning to do some recording. But again, this hopefully will be the power of having smaller cohort groups. Instead of Zooming with a class of 32 4th graders or 5th graders, now we're going to have, you know, 14, 15 in a cohort group, and hopefully that's going to help to get those questions answered and to help our kids. But I would reach out to the teacher if you feel that that's a need. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Katie Keenan, do you have another question?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. I just had a quick question about tomorrow's meeting. If both myself and my son's father work, so are you going to be, is it going to be recorded? Will we be able to have access to that, or should we see if maybe one of, like, grandma can watch?
So tomorrow evening's back to school night meeting is what you're talking about, right?
Yes, yes.
So just like I'm recording this one, we made an agreement that all of our teachers are recording their meetings, and then they are planning to send the link out right away. So you should get that link tomorrow evening or, you know, early Thursday morning. But the agreement was to send that before school started, just in case there was important information for school start. So that's our agreement. And unless, you know, somebody messes something up, forgets to push the record button, which, you know, these things can happen, but that is our agreement as a staff that we're recording.
Okay. And then that will be sent through Parent Square?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Through Parent Square.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Yep, thank you. Randers.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi. So I'm going to try and ask too on behalf of Ricky for her question.
Thanks.
And yeah, no problem. So we were curious because we saw the slide that popped up that showed Google Classroom for 2nd through 5th grade. And this whole time, the communications that have been coming out and the trainings that were happening last week for the parents, everything was TK through 2nd for Seesaw, not Google Classroom. So is that something that got switched?
So 2nd grade teachers were sort of in that midway zone, and in the springtime, they kind of had an option of choosing Seesaw or Google Classroom. I'm pretty sure that those 2nd grade teachers are using Google Classroom, but it's something that you need to talk to them about tomorrow night when you're meeting with them. I don't want to make stuff up. I really don't. So but I'm going to say something that might be made up in my mind. I think that they still use Seesaw to push out some assignments, but as far as the structure of their day, I believe happens within the context of Google Classroom. So they still might use Seesaw for some things, but I'm not 100% positive. So that's a great question for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Elizabeth.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so I have one question. I have an incoming fourth grader, and you said that I know that in the past they would get an instrument, but I had an email from the school district saying that they won't. Will they be doing like singing or something along those lines instead of getting an instrument?
Yes, so they will have a music class, and I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be more of a general music class or a vocal music class or a combination of the two, but they will have music. I believe that when we come back to school, they will then have an opportunity to play a musical instrument. I know that that's something that they're going to work on, but right now it's too challenging to have them start an instrument. So they still will have music, but it won't be a musical instrument. Okay?
Okay. And then one last thing. Where can we get the forms? I know that you said to get the forms to fill out for the lunch. I know that if parents don't qualify, but you still benefit from filling out for your school,
That's
where
all,
can I find those
it's
forms?
all in your Aries parent portal. All of those
Okay.
forms in there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm just going to do CJ's question, and this is our last one.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. I wanted to let you know that the district sent out, I believe, a text I got and an email providing logon and password information for Clever, and it's not working. Willow's not even listed on there as a school.
Okay, so Sonia, can we work on that tomorrow? We'll work on that tomorrow.
Okay, just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So if you have some questions in Spanish, this is going to be an opportunity for us to do a little bit of Spanish. I'm done. So we're going to kind of recap and answer any questions, make sure that we clarify. So if that's not something you want to stay for, you're dismissed. Welcome to stay if you want to. But Elba, you want to kind of help me check in around folks for information. Do you want me to pull back up the slides or?
Yes, please. Buenas noches a todos, agradecemos su paciencia. Primero, entender que a veces vamos a tener dificultades técnicas. No estamos a salvo de no experimentar eso, así que les agradecemos mucho su paciencia y sabemos que estamos todos experimentando cosas nuevas y lo que queremos hacer es darles un resumen breve de lo que se habló. Sé que muchos tienen mucha confianza en que entienden el idioma, pero no tienen la confianza en hablarlo, así que estoy segura que muchos de ustedes comprendieron mucho de esta información, pero para estar seguros, quiero asegurar de que tengan un poco más de información en nuestra lengua natal y espero me tengan la paciencia si es que me equivoco y el fluido del idioma, así que vamos a empezar brevemente y al final vamos a dar tiempo para que puedan hacer sus preguntas. El concepto, como saben, nuestra escuela o los que son nuevos, nuestra escuela es una escuela basada en arte. Lo que queremos es combinar lo que es el currículum académico con un concepto de arte. El concepto de este año va a ser unidad. La manera que nos unamos ya sea comunidad o cómo es que la unidad promueve el crecimiento dentro de nuestra comunidad en esta escuela. Nuestra obra maestra es la imagen que se está viendo, es basada en un libro que se llama Tar Beach, el autor es Faith Ringgold y esto se traduce a lo que es una playa de asfalto o una playa de chapopote porque es de lo que está construido usualmente las carreteras o lo que son los techos de los edificios. We can go to the next one. Queremos también hacerles una invitación a nuestra noche para familias nuevas, orientación de padres, incluido a nuestro club de padres, que va a ser agosto 26 a las 6 de la tarde. Va a ser nuevamente igual, va a ser virtual. Vamos a estar mandando toda la información a través de su aplicación de Parent Square. Empezamos con lo que es la información directa al aprendizaje a la distancia. Recuerden que hay dos grupos, el grupo de la mañana y el grupo de la tarde. El grupo de la mañana cubre de 8 a 10 y media y el grupo de la tarde de 12 a 3. Por favor, les dejo saber que lo que es este jueves y viernes, todos los grupos nos vamos a juntar de 8 a 10 y media. Nuevamente esta semana, jueves 20 y viernes 21 de agosto, todos nos vamos a ver virtualmente a las 8 de la mañana. ¿Por cuánto tiempo va a permanecer este plan? Está indeciso hasta que el condado nos levante a otra fase. Es que se va a mandar otra encuesta para saber cuál es su decisión. Si es que al levantarse la etapa, usted decide mandar a sus hijos o quiere mantenerse en aprendizaje a la distancia. Next. Tenemos una asamblea de regreso a la escuela este jueves a las 8, el jueves 20 de agosto a las 11, de 11 a 11 y media. Es para todos los estudiantes, va a ser a través del Zoom, así como lo estamos haciendo. Y vamos a promover una asamblea por mes para tener reconocimientos a los estudiantes. ¿Cuándo conoceremos a nuestro grupo y maestros? La manera que se eligieron estos grupos es por orden alfabético. La primera línea de orden alfabético de su apellido, si es de la A a la L se va a romper en dos fracciones. Si su apellido empieza con L y E, usted está en el grupo de la mañana. Si su apellido comienza con L y F hasta la Z, entonces usted va a estar en el grupo de la tarde. Los grupos no necesariamente significa que es el único momento que usted tiene tiempo con la maestra. Este es tiempo directo y aparte va a haber otro tipo de, ¿cómo se dice? De trabajo que tiene que hacer por su cuenta o que el niño tiene que hacer por su cuenta. Si todavía tiene problemas accediendo a los portales de Parent Square o de Aries, por favor no duden en llamarnos, ya sea a Sonia, al número de la oficina, ahí está en pantalla, o a su servidora, Elba Márquez, también ahí están nuestros correos electrónicos para cualquier duda que usted tenga o pregunta. Muchos de ustedes ya tienen mi teléfono, si no, mándenme un correo electrónico y yo se los mando. Y por último, si está teniendo problemas con Aries, lo que necesitamos esencialmente es correo electrónico activo, teléfono activo para asegurar que su récord de su niño tenga ese correo electrónico y ese número de teléfono como el contacto principal. Útiles escolares. La lista de útiles se compartirá durante la junta de regreso a clases, que es mañana, y es por eso que es muy importante, ya que cada maestro tiene sus útiles en mente. Les dejamos saber que no necesitamos recolectar ningún artículo debido a que vamos a estar en casa. La fecha para recoger el currículo de lenguaje y matemáticas, esto significa lo que nosotros como maestros y escuela les vamos a proveer a usted para que tenga todos los materiales en su casa para mantener el currículum. Se van a entregar más probablemente después de la primera semana de septiembre. Estamos tratando de ordenar todos los artículos que se ocupan. Tienen que llegar para después nosotros repartirlos y se repartirán en varias ocasiones, diferentes horarios en la escuela. Calendario. ¿Qué sucede durante las 2 horas y media de clase? Esto se conoce como tiempo de aprendizaje sincrónico. Es cuando el maestro o la maestra da instrucciones directamente facilitando el aprendizaje en pequeños grupos, y es por eso que tenemos 2 grupos divididos. Una pregunta que se hizo fue que si mi hijo está en kinder y tiene 150 minutos de aprendizaje directo, ¿qué es lo que hago si la maestra ya usó medio tiempo de esos minutos? Lo que sucede es que vamos a incorporar educación física virtual, vamos a incorporar clases de arte virtual, y esto es un mandato que debemos de cumplir día a día, que tengan esa instrucción directamente con un maestro, y es por eso que estas 2 horas y media se implementan durante el día. Las plataformas o recursos que usaremos varían dependiendo los grados. Si su hijo asiste de kinder transicional hasta primer grado, usted va a estar usando las clases virtuales a través de Zoom, de CISA. Para las personas en ambos grupos que tengan inglés como segundo idioma o sean aprendices de inglés, la plataforma más importante es Imagine Learning, porque ahí puede encontrar artículos como libros y programas académicos en español. Ya de ahí mañana sus maestros les van a indicar exactamente qué plataforma van a usar, y esto también se puede acceder a través de Clever. The next one. ¿Cómo pueden ayudar los padres? Puede crear un espacio de trabajo donde su hijo tenga un lugar para hacer la transición mental de ahorita estoy en casa y ahorita tengo que estar en la escuela. Crear un espacio de aprendizaje dedicado puede ayudar a que su hijo o su hija esté listo y más enfocado para la escuela virtual. Pueden crear un plan, un horario. Sabemos que ahorita con el tipo de rutina, ahora sí que no hay rutina, perdón por la redundancia, debido a que a veces no sabemos ni qué día es, ni qué hora es, porque nuestro contorno cambió de repente, así que es muy importante establecer rutinas de a qué horas me voy a acostar, a qué horas me voy a levantar, a qué horas voy a tomar mi desayuno y a qué horas voy a estar listo para emprender las clases dependiendo al horario que me toque. Minimice las distracciones, asegúrese de que el televisor no esté encendido, de que su celular, si el niño tiene un celular o otro tipo de aparato electrónico, no lo tenga a la mano para que ellos puedan enfocarse y completar su trabajo. Otras maneras de ayudar, encuentre un espacio para su hijo que sea proporcionado para aprender. En este caso, que sea que no haya tanto ruido, tantas distracciones. A lo mejor no quiere al lado de una ventana donde pase mucho tráfico. Asegúrese que su hijo esté presente y asista. Yo sé que para las personas que van a trabajar eso puede ser un poco difícil. Sabemos que nosotros tenemos mucha influencia en nuestros hijos, y nada más recordarles o hacer esa plática, ¿qué aprendiste hoy? Dame un poquito de más detalle, para así asegurar que nuestros niños se estén poniendo un poquito de atención debido a que la circunstancia es un poco más difícil. Algo muy, muy importante es, yo sé que toma tiempo y a veces llegamos cansados, pero es leer la comunicación del maestro que se está mandando. Sé que son muchos mensajes, pero hay veces que la información está ahí bien detallada y como vemos de repente un mensaje tan largo, optamos por no leerlo. Estoy aquí para servirles si tienen cualquier duda, pero también tenemos que poner de nuestra parte e informarnos para que nosotros estemos preparados en apoyar a nuestros hijos. Continúe compartiendo su entusiasmo porque el aprendizaje durante este momento es difícil, así que hay que echarles porras. Lea a su hijo y promueve el amor por el aprendizaje. Sé que a veces como padres queremos corregirlos, no, así no se hace, y en este momento nos están ahora sí que poniendo muchas pruebas, desde paciencia hasta el convertirnos en maestros, pero recuerde que si usted no apoya a su hijo o si usted no lucha por su hijo, nadie más lo va a hacer. Mantenga el tiempo frente a la pantalla durante la clase virtual. Sabemos que ahorita todo el aprendizaje va a ser en pantalla, así que es un poco contrario a lo que estamos haciendo, pero no tenemos otra manera de comunicarnos con ellos. Así que, por favor, las oportunidades para tener una creatividad, hacer manualidades, leer libros, construir, crear, jugar al aire libre, juegos de mesa, ir a caminar unos 5 minutos, pero si los niños ya están pasando más de 3 horas en la pantalla, no ocupan más. Asistencia y calificaciones. Se tomará asistencia diariamente, así que cuando los niños no asisten a sus clases de Zoom es una ausencia. Si por X razón no tuvo luz, como ahorita que en muchos lugares se fue la luz, o no tiene internet, por favor, llamen a la escuela o manden un mensaje como si estuvieran reportando una ausencia. Va a ser la manera de manejar esa situación. La instrucción se basará en los en los estándares del nivel de grado. Se proporcionará boletas de calificación este otoño, invierno y junio. Así que todo el trabajo que ellos estén haciendo se va a tomar en cuenta. Evaluaciones de educación individualizada. Esto significa si su hijo tiene una IEP, si usted ha ido a ese tipo de reuniones, por favor, hay muchos apoyos de recurso. Van a tener clases, aparte de su clase con sus maestros, van a tener lo que es el apoyo de habla con su terapeuta del habla. Va a haber muchos recursos en línea y también van a haber, después de las 2 horas y media virtuales, van a haber estos apoyos virtualmente. Por favor, los estudiantes que pasen por una evaluación serán programados para un asesoramiento en persona en un grupo. Esto significa que cuando venga su IEP o necesiten exámenes, tienen que venir en persona, pero eso se va a ver dependiendo en qué fase estamos y también dependiendo con sus especialistas. Si usted sabe que su hijo tiene una IEP y que recibía terapia de habla o terapia de motriz fina, por favor hábleme si no le ha llegado el link, pero después de la primera semana de septiembre van a estar teniendo este tipo de apoyos virtualmente. Más información, el distrito mandará instrucciones de cómo ingresar a la clase de su hijo. Si tiene problemas tecnológicos, aquí está la información. Ellos van a estar abiertos de lunes a viernes, de 7:30 a 4:30. También está el correo electrónico. Entienda, por favor, que no somos los únicos usando este sistema, así que sí están un poco saturados, pero mientras podamos mandar la información, ya estamos en la lista de espera y si no, pueden comunicarse con Sonia o conmigo misma. Si nosotros no podemos ayudar, entonces es cuando también mandamos la información al Departamento de Tecnología.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to apologize. That is not exactly the way I was hoping to be able to translate our meeting. So thank you, those of you who have stayed and hung in there, and I really appreciate that.
Les agradezco mucho su paciencia. No es la manera que estábamos tratando de dar la traducción. Ella quiere pedir muchas disculpas por la manera que se manejó, pero fue por los problemas tecnológicos que tuvimos que yo no pude ingresar al inicio de la junta, pero quiero abrir ahora sí que la plataforma para preguntas. Muchas gracias a ustedes que se quedaron para informarse y también voy a pasar algunas de las preguntas que se hicieron aquí si es que ustedes no tienen preguntas propias.
So let's have some questions. If you want to ask a question, you just need to raise your hand. Siobhan, looks like you've hung in there to ask your question. Go ahead.
I was just raising my hand to say that if you log into Clever, you can log in not through Willow, but through Napa Valley Unified School District. And then you can use the login information that they gave you, and that does work.
Awesome. Thank you. You want to translate that, Elba?
Sí, Siobhan estaba compartiendo que para las personas que están tratando de meterse a Clever y no ven la opción de aceptar la escuela Willow, que puede optar por seleccionar lo que es el distrito de Napa, que es Napa Valley Unified School District, pone su nombre de usuario y su contraseña y eso le puede ayudar a acceder a Clever.
Awesome. Alejandra.
Sí, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Pregunta, nosotros venimos de Janville. ¿Los niños necesitan usar uniforme? Era lo que estaba leyendo en las diapositivas.
So the question was that they're coming from Yountville and they read in some of the news that if the kids needed to wear uniforms.
Oh, I thought that's what she was asking. We don't do a uniform, but I think it's a good practice to have your child get up, get dressed for school. They obviously can be comfortable, but it's good for them to put real clothes on, not just stay in their pajamas.
Creo que ella entiende dónde vino la confusión, fue por la traducción, pero lo que queremos promover no es tanto es un uniforme, porque no usamos uniforme, pero es que los niños nuevamente tengan su rutina, que se vistan, que usen ropa que van a usar afuera de la casa, porque tenemos que estar listos para la escuela, a diferencia de quedarnos en nuestras pijamas.
Any other questions? Things that you're wondering about or anything else that you need?
¿Alguna otra pregunta, una duda, algo que no esté muy claro? I also wanted to do some of the questions that were asked. Si no hay preguntas, voy a traducir algunas de las preguntas que se hicieron. Una que me pareció muy interesante fue que preguntaron que si ellos no recibieron una notificación de que su hijo fue movido del grupo de la mañana al grupo de la tarde, porque como la directora mencionó, había grupos que tenían 20 niños en la mañana y 5 en la tarde. Ella tuvo que hacer cambios para balancear la clase. Si usted no recibió hasta ahorita un aviso de que su hijo se cambió de grupo, no se preocupe. Usted ya sea por orden alfabético va a seguir en el grupo de la mañana o dependiendo su apellido va a ir al grupo de la tarde. Do you have a question in mind that really stuck with you that you can help me remember?
Well, I think the most important thing that they can do is go to back to school night tomorrow night.
Lo más importante que ella quiere ahora sí que ponerle mucho énfasis en es de que por favor asistan a la junta de mañana directamente con sus maestros. Vamos a tratar de tener traducción. Va a ser un poco similar vamos a llegar, a darles la bienvenida, a dejar que fluya la información, pero con un tiempo más medido para después poder dar la traducción y dar el tiempo a sus preguntas.
I think their questions will be answered.
Y ahí muchas de sus dudas y preguntas van a ser respondidas, ya que cada maestro, aunque sí tenemos una unificación de cómo se va a estar enseñando, cada maestro tiene su propia plataforma y su propia manera de hacer las cosas.
Marta, did you have a question?
Sí, buenas noches. ¿Me escuchan?
Sí, te escuchamos, Marta. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Mira, mi pregunta, tengo muchas preguntas, pero una de ellas es que mi hijo tiene una IEP, entonces desde que salió del preescolar yo no he recibido ningún tipo de ayuda virtual para el niño, excepto por su Kaiser, que le están dando una terapia una vez a la semana. Mi pregunta es, mi niño es súper inquieto y él no se concentra. Yo lo he visto en la computadora cuando tiene su terapia. A él, por su apellido, le va a tocar en la tarde. ¿Hay alguna posibilidad de que, yo sé que ahorita ya está todo arreglado, de que en algún momento él, si hay una oportunidad, lo cambien a la mañana? Porque siento que él pone más atención en la mañana. En la tarde va a ser bien difícil para que él se quede en paz sentadito. Va a querer salir a jugar.
¿Tu niño viene a TK o a Kinder, perdón?
A Kinder.
Okay. So Marta has an incoming kindergarten. She had an IEP before coming to kindergarten. She hasn't received any type of speech therapy or any type of virtual support last year. So she's wondering when that's going to start. The only thing he has right now is he had cancer, so he still has therapy once a week. And she would like to know if there's any way we can switch him to the morning, because she has noticed he is very more awake in the afternoon and he can't really be still for a long period of time. That's what she's noticed through the virtual meetings he's had so far.
So if she could please direct her special request to Sonia. We're taking all the requests, and I will do my best to accommodate, but you have to understand that I'm working really hard. I have over 500 students, and I just cannot accommodate 500 special requests. So it might work out that we can trade, or that the numbers are off a little bit. I will do my very best.
Marta, lo que ella sugiere es que si por favor podrías hacer tu petición por escrito al correo de Sonia. Lo que podemos hacer es ver si es que funcionan los números, si a lo mejor hay alguien en la tarde, que en la mañana que quiera cambiar en la tarde. Ella va a tratar lo posible de poder cumplir tu petición. Lo que ella quiere es que entiendan de que ella tiene más de 500 niños que se tienen que acomodar, pero es algo que puede ver, pero no vamos a poder cumplir las peticiones de 500 estudiantes, pero sí podemos saber cuáles son las inquietudes y tratar de acomodar si es que hay la posibilidad.
And then I wanted to say that special ed services, speech, and all of those services will get started pretty much right away.
También quiere añadir de que los servicios virtuales de recursos como el habla, motriz fina y otros recursos especiales de apoyo van a empezar lo más pronto posible. Y todo se va a mandar por Parent Square.
We're going to take one more question, and then we're going to kind of call it a night. I appreciate those of you who have hung in there with us. So Maria Rocio Campos.
Sí, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Mi pregunta es, para abrir las aplicaciones en la computadora de mi hijo, necesito su correo electrónico. ¿Eso no lo van a otorgar mañana o ya debería de tenerlo?
El correo electrónico es el mismo desde que empiezas con el distrito escolar hasta que terminas la high school. So the question was if she was going to be given a new email address, or is that something that she should have already? My reply is that it's the same email address that you've had from when your kid enrolled. But I know Maria might be a different situation because I think he was with Ms. Bowman or Ms. Wolfie. I don't know if they also have an email.
Mm-hmm. Every child is issued one, so.
Okay. So María, lo que podemos hacer tú y yo nos podemos conectar si todavía no tienes ese correo electrónico. Yo tengo tu número, tú tienes mi número, porque si él tuvo clases virtual durante la primavera, es el mismo correo electrónico.
Sí, sí las tuvo, pero lo que pasa que donde yo tenía apuntado toda esa información, la libreta pienso que él mismo la agarró para hacer sus obras de arte y no lo tengo.
Ok, otra cosa, creo que es algo que a lo mejor podemos ver en Aries, pero yo me fijo bien, me junto con la secretaria y yo te encuentro esta información.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Esta es la última pregunta. Les agradecemos su tiempo, su comprensión y su paciencia y los esperamos mañana. Recuerden que dependiendo del grado de su hijo es el horario que les toca. Hay unos que les va a tocar a las 6, los otros a las 6:45 y por favor pongan atención a sus mensajes de Parent Square.
All right. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. I appreciate it.
Gracias a todos. Muy buenas noches.